So, welcome, Johnny Nelson. So, people are thinking, why am I wearing shades right now? So, at the end of the day, for me, the reason why I'm wearing shades is because I think some of them judges couldn't see the fight. I didn't think they could score the fight properly. See, this is the problem that we're facing these days in boxing, where it's making me hate the sport. Well, I won't say hate the sport, Johnny, but we were losing to UFC right now, and that's why I feel like. But the people want to know, and I want to know what your thoughts was on the fight.
Um, I think Ngannou did amazingly well. Surprised us all. I gave him a puncher's chance, and that was it. In reality, and that was comparing him against Tyson Fury, who is the best heavyweight in the world. Ngannou did his homework, and Ngannou prepared. Um, uh, and I think the words "if you fail to prepare to fail." And so I think that kind of almost was the case with Tyson Fury. And it's easy for us to say because we're not the ones that are having to put ourselves in the position to train for the fight. But the platform was there for him. This was announced as a game changer. So you think if it's going to be a game changer, you're going to perform to your best of your ability, or you're going to make sure you're prepared to perform to the best of your ability. Tyson Fury himself said, don't blame anybody, blame me. I think Tyson Fury is probably disappointed in his performance. And it sounds like we're giving Ngannou a disjustice because he boxed well. He did the right thing. But in reality, you expected much more from somebody of Tyson Fury's stature, the thighs, the height, the boxing record compared to a man that's had his first boxing fight. And yeah, Tyson Fury's been out the fight game 11 months. I think Ngannou's been out the fight game at the same time. I know commitments fight week were horrendous for Tyson and Ngannou in regards to having to turn up to this event, that event, this event to promote the fight. Both fighters walked the same street. Both fighters had the same commitment. So using these as a possible prop for the performance is probably unjust. I think when it came down to it, Ngannou went in there respecting and having a fearful respect of what was in front of him. I think Tyson Fury made the mistake that fighters have done in the past, which I'm surprised at him because he actually knows the fight game. He's a clever guy, he's a clever fighter. But now and again, you trip up and you might slip up. And I think Tyson Fury thought it was a lot easier than what it was, or and therefore he underestimated Ngannou, or he's slipping. Now, on that performance, if he did two performances like that, then we could have the argument and conversation to say that he's slipping. I think he underestimated Ngannou massively. And I think if they fight each other again, if Tyson hasn't slipped, I think Tyson Fury does a much, much better job, a much decisive job on Ngannou. Yes, again, I've looked at it 4 times now. I looked at the night of the fight. I looked at it the next morning. I said, nah, Ngannou by 2 rounds. I'm looking at it again, and it depends on what you're looking for. And so, again, you got to look at punches landed. Tyson Fury had the punches landed, power punches landed. You got to look at Ngannou had the more power punches landed. So it's a way of what you're seeing. It's about hitting, not being hit, and it was just too close for comfort, as far as I was concerned. So before, when I said I give Ngannou by about 2 rounds, I thought there was no way in a million years Ngannou is going to get the decision unless he knocks Tyson Fury out. Not in a million years. There's too much money riding on it. The whole world's there. The whole event was set up for. It was a pre-warm for the undisputed against Alexander Usyk, which was supposed to be on December the 23rd. Now that date has suddenly being nudged, being shifted, being whatever it is. It was guaranteed December 23rd. I didn't believe it was ever going to happen on the 23rd because Usyk was ringside at the fight. Now, Usyk, the professional he is, I could not see him breaking training camp 8 weeks before the said date to watch Tyson Fury fight, no matter how much money they paid him to be ringside. And listen, it was star-studded ringside. Most people paid to be there, but you know what? We will probably never see such a star-studded audience for many, 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 many years to come. And so I think the whole event was brilliant. I think how it was put on, the idea, the intention was brilliant. I think the only person probably that probably dropped the ball was Tyson Fury in regards to his approach, his approach to the fight. Not the trainer. Trainer did a great job. Promoters have got to promote. Managers have got to manage. You know, I spoke to his manager. I was made aware of Spencer Brown a couple of days before, and he said, "Look, I'm his manager. I've negotiated this. He's definitely fighting December the 23rd." So Spencer Brown needs to be sat in front of a camera, and that's why he's not fighting. Why after the game? Because he won. So it's down to the management to speak to him.
I get that. The question I asked though, and the whole public are asking as well, yes, there is a feeling, and even Billy Joe Saunders came out and said the fact that he feels like Tyson and his team, he said it to be exact, Tyson and his team, there's yet too many yes men in the corner. And he didn't.
Without a doubt. Everybody, most of the people I'm observing around Tyson Fury will tell Tyson, will never be able to be in a position to tell Tyson how it is without fear of losing the position they have. And I'm quite sure they're getting paid handsomely. And this is historical. You know, being the heavyweight champion of the world, you surround yourself with a lot of yes men that are too scared to tell you how it is, rather than that's better for you because they want to keep their job and keep the pay, keep the wage. So in reality, and it won't change. You know, they'll probably see this and probably see other comments like Billy Joe's. It won't change at all because you know, fact of life is these people want to stay in their job, and when you go to the gym, it's not the fighter tells the trainer what we're doing. The fighter tells the management and promoter what we're doing. You know, the fighter owns who he is. You know, but if the fighter is doing something fundamentally wrong, it needs to be pointed out to him, and that way he can be the boss of his own destination. Yeah, you can't surround yourself with people that aren't going to tell you how it is and say what's best for you. Otherwise, your progression, your development will cease.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is I agree with Billy. You know, I agree that's the case with Billy with what he's saying. And as a fighter, you know these things. I've seen it with fights before. Nas Prince Naseem Muhammad did it. You know, I'm quite sure the fighters have done it, but that's when you see it firsthand. You see how it stumps the growth of a fighter, the learning of a fighter, if he surrounds himself with people that tell him what he wants to hear.
Question I asked though, by the way, as well, again, is did you expect the fight to go the way it did? What was your initial thought about when you first heard the fight, Fury is fighting Ngannou? What's going to happen here? What did Johnny Nelson think?
I first of all, it was announced as a game changer, and the masses might fall for that. I'm like, come on, man, really? I think a game changer. You've got an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world fighting a guy that's fought his first professional boxing fight, even though he was in MMA with martial arts. What's going to be a game changer about this? And so obviously, Ngannou's supporters could never imagine Tyson Fury beating, and vice versa. I saw it with Conor McGregor against Floyd Mayweather. The game changer was probably the whole event. The whole event was amazing. Tyson Fury responsibility to live up to that, to step up to that, to give it the same commitment he gave him. He didn't, and I tell you, and he didn't, because I tell you, if Tyson Fury there was a rematch between these two. I believe Tyson Fury, if he hasn't slipped, it would be a completely different job, a completely different result, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but you know what? Ngannou may be that fight where we think, wow, you know what? We really underestimated this guy, because Ngannou wasn't pressured to being dummied into making a move. He stood his ground. He waited, stood his ground. His basics were off. His basics were basic. His jab wasn't as stood and as piston like as most fighters. He threw a clubbing overhand left, a clubbing overhand right, clipped Tyson in the right position. So in doing that, was this planned or was this his shot? This was his shot repertoire. You don't know. So we'll have to see on how good Ngannou is when he fights again. Now they're saying he should fight this man, he should fight that man. You know, in reality, remember, this guy he lacks experience as a professional boxer. So therefore, if he fights any of the top 10 fighters, common sense should tell you these guys should have more experience than him. That's what common sense is. Thinking of his common sense is not that common. Ngannou might all of a sudden said, you know what, welcome, here I am. And he may start chopping people up. He may start to make mincemeat of people, and we actually, there's a thing called boxing snobbery. We're actually thinking, you can't come into our game and do that. You're mad. So it's going to be hard for him to. It's going to be hard for him to get the respect unless he does it again. Brendan always said, a trainer can always develop one champion, and people will say, it was luck. Maybe two, it's luck. But when you start to develop 3, 4, 5, 6 champions, they give you respect where respect's due. From Ngannou, you're looking at that and people thinking, and I'm one of them thinking, you know what, he got Tyson Fury when he dropped his guard.
Millennial champion.
So, yeah,
everybody wrote him off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody wrote him off. Everybody wrote him off. And so if we did and Tyson Fury did, what do you expect? So now it's like Andy Ruiz. Not many people knew about Andy Ruiz before he boxed Anthony Joshua. We just saw this little fat Mexican. And then blam! Look what he did. Now Andy Ruiz. Yeah, and now Andy Ruiz, you know, he's struggling to fight on a regular, because now everybody knows what he's about. Everybody knows what he's capable of doing. Ngannou is now that fighter. They know he's strong. You know, he can't be pressured. You know, he knows his game. So now people are preparing for him. When you're a champion, you can be champion, and some kid might have just turned pro, and you're his target from day dot. So he's preparing for you from the second he set his eyes on you. You don't know anything about him, but he's got years and years and years to prepare for you. When you don't know anything about him, the responsibility of a champion is to be able to devise a game plan and the ability to beat on all comers at short notice. So when someone's had years to prepare for you, the quality of your champion is that he can think, right, you've had years to prepare for me, I'm a champion. And this is what champions do. Tyson Fury, in my opinion, he shirked the responsibility of the champion.
How can you prepare for an MMA fighter though? You've never seen a boxing fight of his. He's never had a boxing fight. No,
so you look at how he fights. You look at what he does. You look at how he acts. So you know what, close and personal. The best. I actually thought the best. Ngannou was probably kind of shown a blueprint to beating Tyson Fury. Don't be dummied into making a move so you walk onto a shot. Stay strong. Try and make him box at long. So make him commit. Make him make the move. But it'll dummy into making a move. Then he counters you with all various unorthodox shots.
He always looks for that counter. And Ngannou's defense was crazy. I don't think he gets the plaudits that it should have got, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the reason why Fury's getting all the heat is because we expected better. Ngannou, what he's done, even though he didn't get the decision, you know, people are saying, why Tyson Fury XYZ, and Ngannou is like, all of a sudden you've got to look on Ngannou and think, you know what, maybe, just maybe, but there's not enough maybes to hook onto to say this guy's it, because now we've got to see him do it again with somebody else, and then the respect that he deserves, he'll get. Because at the moment, the thing is, people are saying Tyson Fury underperformed. Tyson Fury did X, Y, or didn't do X, Y, Z. And so it's about Tyson Fury because he's the established boxer. And Ngannou's the new kid on the block. So we don't know nothing about the new kid on the block. He's just made his established boxer look bad. The new kid on the block comes again.
Yeah, the whole of boxing looked bad to me.
No, not the whole of boxing. You're not the whole of boxing because boxing doesn't start and finish with Tyson Fury.
It's the lineal template. This was the man.
I understand. I understand, but Tyson Fury, and again, if once you start believing in your own hype, you stop preparing right. You stop neglecting things, thinking all I have to do is because I'm done. You know, you let yourself down. Boxing don't start and finish with Tyson Fury. So don't think Tyson Fury lets boxing down. The problem is if boxing have bought into the richest prize in sport is heavyweight boxing. So the people are willing to ignore, people are willing to run along with things that they're probably not comfortable with. So, but boxing doesn't look at heavyweight boxing. We had Lennox Lewis, you know, would go on Mike Tyson. You'll go on, you look at all these champions that were there. You know, I'm quite sure when Mike Tyson was his height, people saying, "Oh my God, it's disgusting," but he got the job done when he boxed. But then when he beat Evander Holyfield's ear, "Oh my God, boxing is X, Y, Z." You know, so you're going to get characters that will put the reputation of boxing into question, but you've got to look at the history of boxing and the champions that were before the individual, such as Tyson Fury, and don't put the whole history of boxing on Tyson Fury's responsibility because it's not. He's just another pawn in the game of boxing.
And I'll give you another point on the whole boxing thing. Does the judges give us a bad reputation as well? I'm saying
the judges don't do. The judges don't do. The judges don't do themselves or boxing any favors. And I've always said, what they should do is when it comes to the judges, I bet this time next week you forget which judge scored it 96, 93 to Tyson Fury or whatever. You forget his name. But what happens is what they should do in all boxing, instead of letting these judges hide behind an official, if a judge has made a bad call, you get a camera in front of your face with a fight and say, "You show me what round you scored to him." Because if there's any skullduggery going on and they say, you see a man getting battered and they say, "Well, I gave him that round," you'll be like, "What? Have you done that?" They explain. Because I'm looking the same thing as you. And so when you hold them accountable, once you've held them accountable, there'll be less people willing to do that because there'll be on news next week. What do you know the name of the? Do you know what the score? Do you know the name of the referee that called it 96 to Tyson Fury?
Don't have
no.
A clue. Well, if I do,
you don't have a clue.
If I do find
this is what I'm saying.
This is what I'm saying. And I'll ask him what are you?
No. More, but my question is this: they announced his name, Judge such and such 96, 93, whatever it was. They announced his name. The second they announced his name, you forgot his name. You just listened to what he scored. So even the same night, man's forgetting who it is. But if these people are made accountable, you get them to sit down and say, "This is what I scored. That's what I did." There'll be more people doing their job correctly than incorrectly.
Yeah. Okay. Now my question is to you: did you think the scoring was right or was it wrong?
What that referee when he? I think the ref.
Okay,
so again, power punches. There were more power punches to Ngannou than there were to Tyson Fury. If you're talking about hitting and not being hit, where jabs moving out of the way, Tyson Fury, he had the more. He landed more shots. But it's what you go for. Do you outweigh power shots over what Tyson Fury was doing? But the more effective work was done by Ngannou. More power shots were landed by Ngannou. You know, and and that's where the problem is. So I'm saying the first time I saw it, I thought, "Nah, that's wrong." The next day I watched it again. I went, "Nah, mine out." Tyson lost by 2 rounds. I watched it again. I'm thinking, I thought, you know what?
It's closer than you think. It's closer than.
The fight was close, but I tell you now, when it got to round 8, I said, if this fight goes a distance, no matter what happens, Ngannou is not getting the decision.
Most definitely. You think Saudi Arabia paid that much money? No offense to the Saudis, but if we know boxing, and you know boxing more than me, to be fair, you knew how it was gonna go. It was either gonna be a draw or it was either gonna be Tyson Fury win. That's the only way I could see it going. In terms of that, the only way Ngannou was actually gonna win was if it was just a straight knockout. Because if it went to the cards, because we all know. And here's the thing, though, my thinking was as well, by the way, I'm going back to the fight rather than the scorecards. We've seen Tyson Fury get up from these punches, by the way. like nothing before and win the fight. Even though I saw him get up, by the way, I thought this is Tyson Fury. He's gonna come win this fight. But he just slowed down in the 8th round. So from 8 to 10, Ngannou took it for me anyway, to be fair. But yeah, they were never gonna let him. They were never gonna let him lose. I'm not saying that boxing is rigged. I don't know. People, you can take what you want from that. People in general, but I just saw the fight where they were never gonna let Ngannou win the fight altogether. And even Ngannou after the fight come out and said, "Thank you for." He didn't say anything about robbery or anything like that. He just said, as a gentleman he is, "Thank you for the fight. I'm happy."
So what you've got to do, what the fans have got to do is they've got to take emotion out of it. Sit down, be calm, stop listening to all the noises, and watch it again. And watch the punches landed. Watch it again. And get a pen and paper, watch it again, write it down, boom, boom. I did it.
Round by round.
When I first saw it, I thought, nah, man. Saw what again? I went, nah, man. And I saw it again, and now I'm thinking, okay. But I'm thinking, when you're there at a live event, and you've got to make a decision. You make a decision what you see. We have hindsight to go back on.
Mhm.
So after 3 times, I'm like thinking, well, maybe it was closer than what it is, but nah. First 2 times I watched it, I'm like, nah, I'm going to win now. So what I'm saying is, fans have got to take emotion out of it. I do think Ngannou did enough. He did enough to deserve the win.
Mhm.
So as some people might think, Tyson Fury did enough to deserve the win. But in reality, Ngannou, I think they put the expectation of it, that was never expected from Ngannou, the guy that's had his first professional fight. His first professional fight. I think Leon Spinks boxed Ali in his 7th professional fight and beat Ali. His 7th. But Ngannou's first professional fight.
Puts down.
And it's not as though he's in against an old Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury saying that he boxed for 11 months. Neither has Ngannou. He's never boxed. He's not fought for more than a year. That's a weak excuse.
True. Very true. So here's the thing though. On that note, so like now look, so now the WBC, by the way, has put him in the top 10. Do you agree with that, by the way? Because
you see, no, they've got to make their mind up, because if Ngannou won, all the belts were not on the line. Why were they not on the line? It was a boxing match. All the belts were not on the line. So if he won, how would you look at Tyson Fury still as a linear world champion when he just lost to a guy that's had his first professional fight? So it's a bag of nonsense, really. Because if he won, then what would that mean? Tyson Fury kept his belts and still was classed as the linear world champion, or they gave him to Ngannou. So now the WBC have put. So now all of a sudden it's recognised as a proper fight, not an exhibition, not a gimmick fight. It's now classed up. So why was it a class? So why was it class? Why wasn't it class? But why wasn't it class as all the belts were on the line? This is where the problem lies. If you're going to do these fights, you've got to remember, if this fighter A loses a fighter B, everything that fight has is gone. Because that means fighter A, now it's fighter B that's the champion. You can't say, no, you don't get him if you win. Don't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense whatsoever. I feel like Mauricio Solomon and co, yeah, no offense to them. Actually, well, I'm going to say what it is. But I feel like they're just going after the media just to get more. Oh, yeah. So he's done so well. We're just going to give him the top 10. What about the guys who have been fighting for the last 10, 15 years to get up to the top 10? Do you know what? Just to stand, your normal boxers have been fighting.
Yeah, but because you're looking at the performance. Look, you're looking at Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder got knocked out
3 times.
So Ngannou lost to him on points, a close points decision. So you can kind of understand that looking at it. But sometimes A beats C and C beats A and B beats C.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? So this is why you've got to make your way up the rankings. Do it the traditional way, so people understand why you're in the position you're in. Now, when you put on a fighter like this is where it kind of trips everybody up to say, "Hold on a minute, he's not done the traditional way. Does he deserve that spot?" Now, so the spot was on. It's about money. A lot of money was being fought, and they want to do something different. Now, this is the downside of it. If you're going to do a fight like this, then what if the guy that you drafted in to put bums on seats and got the gimmick fight. What if he wins? Where's your rule of thumb then? You know, so they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Did you watch the opening ceremony, by the way?
Bad. Listen, bad. It's just like I looked at it, I thought, wow. You
Crazy.
know, and listen, but you know, there's two ways you can look at it. I think Saudi Arabia did an amazing thing for the world to see how beautiful and glorious the country can be. To change the impression and change the opinion of the Western world, of how beautiful it can be. And so therefore they made sure they did their job, make sure everybody was there. On the other hand, you could look at it this way. Was it to give the impression that this fight is that big? All the past and present champions, anybody in TV, pop, sport, want to come and watch this, want to come watch the fight. That's not the case, because these people were paid to be there. So it's like me putting a party on in my house and me paying you to come to my party.
True.
So I'm thinking, are you there because you want to be there? Would you come if I wasn't paying you?
Oh hell no, they ain't
Would
coming.
you?
They ain't coming.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is Saudi Arabia did their job in making sure they had the right people there, so the world's media was there too. It's like beast to honey. Right? So they did their job. Tyson Fury's job was to return the favor by going in and doing his best and preparing at his best. And he didn't. No, he didn't. He clearly didn't. And I actually don't believe he prepared at his best. So I actually believe that as a professional, I think he was unprofessional, because I'm thinking, Tyson, man, you know, you come in at a career heaviest, 19 stone 11. You got fat back on your back. You know what I mean? My man's pulling up his shorts like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The shorts are still falling off him though.
I'm thinking, nah. It took him 6 rounds to try and find a measure of him, and then still, you know, my guy's falling over himself, and I'm like, you know what? Unfortunately, the problem is this: when people like you and reporters go and interview Tyson Fury or his people, they're going to be too scared to ask the questions that might piss them off. And so if they're too scared to ask the questions that might piss them off, yeah, you're never going to get an honest answer, because number one, if you don't play ball, you ain't going to get an interview. If you don't question the answer, then you'll never get an interview again.
Then am I doing my job right then?
That's what I'm saying. You're not doing your job right. And that's why reporters report. Don't report what you think. Don't report what he tells you to think. Report what is happening. And so this is why people, when they want the interview, they want the exclusive, because they'll say, yeah, I'll not ask that, I'll not ask this, and I'll let you get off of that. Nah, don't work like that. It don't work like that at all. And that's why I remember Michael Parkinson, when he interviewed Ali 3 times. The first time was troublesome, devilish. The second time, you know, you had 2 combats, you know, these two, they're on each other. Michael Parsons asked a question. Ali came back. He was talking about religion. He was talking about multiculturalism. He was talking about all the things, about the white man, about the black man. He was having conversation where most people thought, Ross. The third one, these two respected each other, because he thought, I respect you, you respect me. You did your job, I did my job. Reports today don't do that. They don't do that. They support, their job is to report. Don't say, well, this is what I thought. Your job is to tell everybody what is going on there, not what you want them to see, just so it suits you.
Question was, were you rocking out to Lil Baby or not? Or, do you even know who Lil Baby is? You know who Lil Baby is. Come on, man.
Hey.
Was that you in your back room, just out here, just hey? The question is though, who was that black guy that opened up? I didn't even have a clue who he was, by the way.
I didn't. But you know what? They did. As I said, Saudi Arabia did their job. They made sure everybody, who was anybody, was there. That's what they did. And if they had to pay through the nose to get in there, they did. I understand the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, we want you here, and we want to, because we know the media follows you. We want the media to come and see what we can do. And they did an amazing job. They held up their end of the bargain. They did an amazing job.
One thing I love, though, by the way, was the fact that they brought all the old school boxers, or old school boxers around. Everybody was there. Do you see the pictures at the end where They were all there for the little meeting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? What did
I
you
loved
think?
it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You won't see something anything like that again.
No.
And that's why I just thought, you know what, you've got to give it Saudi Arabia. They knew the vision they wanted.
Question is, where does this
And
put AJ? Where does this put AJ right now? Sorry.
I don't really know. AJ is on his path, you know, you know, AJ is getting on with his own business. He's thinking, you know what, you do you, I'll do me.
So where does it put him in this like caliber now? So now you got Ngannou in the mix now. So what happens? Does people are saying
Well, you know
I
what,
think
AJ, I'm quite sure.
Eddie Hearn's just like this right now. Just you get it?
Well, I'll put it this way. Ngannou is the new Buster Douglas. And then what I say is, Buster Douglas, when he beat Mike Tyson, was the highest paid sportsman that year because his next fight was for 13.8 million against Evander Holyfield that year for that one fight. And because Buster Douglas, he was a guy that beat Tyson, everybody wanted him. Now Ngannou is a guy that unofficially,
the people's champion,
questionably, beat the lineal champion Tyson Fury. So now fighters that want to make a name for themselves will be thinking, you know what? I want him. Promoters are thinking, we got to get that guy. He's beatable. We'll get that guy. He got paid reportedly between 6 and 10 million for the fight. Now he can go in and say, yeah, fine. How much you paying me? But he can't let it overboil and outprice himself. But he's in a great position.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Question I ask you now, by the way, is where does this put boxing now? Because there's a lot of like, so you got the influencers coming from one side, you got the MMA fighters coming in one side, and just trying to get in and just squeeze the market, you feel a little bit. You know, where the boxing, with everyone's thinking, okay, we can make it into this world out here. They're not so special. So where does this put? So a guy that's never boxed come to fight the lineal champion. Does it look good for boxing right now?
Well, if you do your job, if a good boxer will always be a bad boxer if he does his job. And therefore, you'll always see the difference in class, ability, and depth. If the boxer doesn't do his job, then therefore he doesn't do himself any favors, or his team any favors. And I still believe that. So when you've got these YouTubers coming through, you've got these guys doing a crossover. They shouldn't beat a boxer. It's like Tyson Fury going to the octagon. He shouldn't beat Ngannou. Ngannou should twist him up. And so if Ngannou is worth his reputation, and that's vice versa. And that's why I said Tyson Fury let himself down. Ngannou didn't beat him. Tyson Fury beat him. Tyson Fury beat himself because he let himself down. If Tyson Fury boxed to the best of his ability and then got turned over, then you thought, damn, he didn't. He let himself down. And Ngannou did everything right. And that's why the praise is heaped on me. You know, Tyson Fury said the Audi got hit. You know, the black eye, bruise there, face smash up.
You seen him afterwards,
you know
black
I mean?
eye here,
Yeah,
bruises, everything.
Ngannou didn't have a mark on him. You know what I mean? So it's like he's not even using common sense.
Most definitely. So, quick one, just going back onto everything now. Buatsi and Aziz didn't happen. There was a lot of talk from the media saying, or just Eddie Hearn in general, is the fact that, I don't know whether they've asked you or anything, ticket sales, there wasn't enough ticket sales.
Yeah.
There was no injury or anything like that. What is that? Is that true? Go and give us the inside scoop.
No, listen, no, this is it's schoolyard foolishness. You know, you've got rival promoters trying to trip each other up. So if I can tell you something and you'll tell everybody else, all of a sudden you're undermining the other promoter. If anybody knows Dan Aziz, Dan is an honest, true, honestly pro. So you're disrespecting him. Eddie was doing his job by promoting Matchroom and DAZN and trying to undermine Boxer and Sky. That's all he does. It's the game, show business. You know, and so unfortunately, that's the business side of the game. The show is Dan had an injury, couldn't fight. That's it. And so when you start to throw these conspiracy theories in, you know, there were no ticket sales or he wasn't really pulled. Are you telling me Dan Aziz, the man that went to Italy with no TV, the man that's like has come through and done it in the traditional way when the British Commonwealth and European title, are you telling me someone's come to and say, yo, no ticket sales, so pull out, say ill? yo, the pull out and I give you a little side cash. That means you're the character of the individual. And I'm quite sure there are fighters out there that would do that, that would sell the soul to the devil like that. Dan is not that guy. Dan's not that guy. And so people are, you're missing the wood for the trees. You listen to the foolishness that's being said instead of looking at the fact. You're listening to the fiction.
Because their whole thing was, how could you get your call 3 days prior to the fight happening?
It wasn't easy. Trust me, it wasn't easy. And remember, the whole undercard, right? And I'd been a fight, so all of a sudden when you think the headlines pull out, oh God, the fight's been done, you say, no, we'll try and find somewhere. If you couldn't get your call, you got someone else. It was not easy. That was hard work. It was, and the thing is, anybody can phone up the York call. You could phone the York call and ask them when it was booked. You phone them up. You phone up and say, when did that place get booked? Right yeah, when did that place get booked for that fight to be on? Anybody could do it. True. You understand? So in reality, you're going to be. Don't stop listening to the fiction.
That's it, actually. That's enough for me, actually. I've got about 2 minutes left of this thing out here now. But yeah, thank you very much, by the way, Johnny. Pleasure having you as usual.
No problem. We got to give it last.
We got to do this more often, man. I like the vibe on that. It's nice.
Yeah, right. When you're ready, G. When you're ready, G.
All right. Love. Nice seeing you, man. All the best.